The midterms are fast approaching, and Trump knows what's at stake. If we don't win the midterms, they'll find a reason to impeach me. His words, casual yet loaded, reveal something far deeper than he might realize. It's not that Trump fears impeachment because he thinks he's done anything wrong. No, he fears it because impeachment is one of the only tools left to check a presidency that's long abandoned any limits. But here's the twist. Impeachment isn't happening, and it's not just because of Republican loyalty. Why is that? What's really going on behind the scenes? Stick around. This story is far from over. Trump's words weren't just a throwaway comment. They're a sign of something much bigger. He doesn't fear impeachment because he's afraid of being caught. He fears it because impeachment is one of the last ways to stop him from pushing every boundary in his path. But what if the real problem isn't just Trump? What if the bigger issue is what's not happening? Democrats, with all their power, have the constitutional tools to act, yet they're choosing not to. Why? It's not about avoiding political risks. It's about something far more dangerous, the quiet dismantling of the very system that holds power in check. Now ask yourself, if the people who are supposed to protect democracy won't, who will? Here's where it gets even more revealing. Trump's fear isn't just about impeachment, it's about the system itself. His constant pushing of the boundaries, it's not an accident, it's calculated. Why? Because he knows Congress can still act. They could hold him accountable, but instead they're choosing not to. This isn't just a minor oversight, it's a choice. And that choice, it's shaking the very foundation of our democracy. But here's what's missing. The moment we stop holding leaders accountable, we stop having a democracy. Notice what's not being said. Why aren't they acting? This isn't the first time we've seen power go unchecked. In fact, we're witnessing a dangerous trend, the normalization of actions that should shock us. Think about it. Trump has openly flirted with canceling elections, mocked the rule of law, and attacked his critics. And yet, instead of facing consequences, he's been allowed to push forward. It's like we're watching history repeat itself, but on a much more dangerous scale. Every time this goes unchecked, it becomes easier for the next person to do the same. The real danger, we're starting to treat this as normal. When did this become acceptable? This should not be the new status quo. And just when you think it can't get worse, it does. New evidence is emerging that reveals even more disturbing contradictions. While Trump dismisses public opinion and tries to rewrite the narrative, those around him, figures like Vance, Bondi, and Hegsth, are still enabling this erosion of democratic norms. It's not just about what Trump says, but what's happening behind the scenes. They're all playing a dangerous game, one that normalizes corruption. And this is where it changes. No longer is it just about policies or politics. This is about something far more fundamental, the very survival of our democratic system. So what happens when this system fails to act? What happens when no one is willing to step up? Now, we're stacking crises one on top of the other. First, the inaction on impeachment. Then, the growing acceptance of authoritarian tactics. And now the real danger, a breakdown of checks and balances. Trump is not alone in this. Others around him, complicit in the silence, are deepening the problem. The system is crumbling under the weight of political cowardice. You're seeing it now, in real time. The question is, what happens next? If no one acts, the damage will be permanent. And the public, they're starting to see through the illusion. The system isn't just malfunctioning, and it's starting to collapse. What happens if this continues? If nothing changes, what kind of country will we be living in? Now let's step back and consider how this affects you. The erosion of democratic norms doesn't just stay in Washington. It spills out into the streets, into your daily life. When leaders are allowed to break the law without consequences, it trickles down. It affects your freedom, your rights, and the stability of your community. The choices made by politicians in power have real-world consequences. If you feel a growing unease, you're not alone. This isn't just a political issue. It's about protecting the core values that we as a society depend on. If this feels familiar, if you see the warning signs, say so in the comments. We need to talk about it because this affects us all. Now, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. This isn't just about one man or a few corrupt politicians. It's about a system that's being slowly, methodically undermined. Why is this happening? It's the result of leverage, incentives, and a political game where power is hoarded, not shared. Fear plays a huge role, too. Fear of doing what's right because it might cost too much politically. Here's the uncomfortable truth. This erosion of democracy isn't happening by accident. It's happening because those in power are choosing not to act. And the scariest part, they're not just standing by, they're enabling it. By doing nothing, they become complicit. This is a story about more than just bad leadership. It's about a system that thrives on the breakdown of accountability. And that's the part most people aren't seeing. So where does this go from here? There are two paths ahead, but both are uncertain. On one side, we could see a reckoning, a shift where the public demands real accountability and forces those in power to act. That would be the wake-up call this system desperately needs. But then there's the other path, a future where this normalization continues, where the erosion of democracy becomes permanent, and where the very tools that were meant to protect us are left gathering dust. The question is, which path will we take? And who will make the first move? The next step is already unfolding before us, but no one's willing to take responsibility for what comes next. The stakes couldn't be higher. In the end, it all comes down to one simple truth. Democracy doesn't survive on speeches alone. It survives on action, on holding those in power accountable, especially when it's uncomfortable. Right now, history is being written, and those who choose inaction won't be remembered as cautious strategists. They'll be remembered as complicit in the collapse of American democracy. The midterms may come and go, but the precedent being set now, that will stick. If a president can break laws, threaten elections, and dismiss public opinion with no consequences, what does that say about us? The real question isn't just whether Trump should be impeached. It's whether we still have the will to protect the system that allows us to say no in the first place. If you want more insights into this unfolding crisis, don't forget to subscribe. We're just getting started.